guys, it's Monday and the first week of training in my final 4-week block of a 16-week training block I've been doing since November. So November, December, January, February, so we're in the final month now. The specific focus during that 16 weeks has been sprints and high torque work and a couple of anaerobic test efforts to see if I was progressing, mainly in the torque. The idea being that the torque range I was working at is really quite high, a little bit higher than what I do for an anaerobic test effort, the 20-30 seconds, 1-2-3 minutes. But if I can progress at that torque, then hopefully improve at those efforts. Saw nice improvement November, December, but then January I kind of overcooked it, realised I was trying to do too much volume, so I've eased that back now. Last 2 weeks have been pretty steady, and now I'm feeling really good today, but rather than jumping back into like 18 hours, I'm just doing 15 hours this week, and then just gradually build it up again, because you know it's a long season. First peaks is at the end of June. It's a long way away, and I want to keep building form consistently until then. Don't need to be smashing it in February like a lot of people are. A lot of people have got their first races around the corner. It's like, fair enough, you want to be in good shape for it, but first race that I'm planning is the end of March, and I'm not expecting to be in like amazing form for that. I'll be in good shape. There's peaks and troughs in your form, but like my level's already relatively high, so like even on a dip, like I can probably still get away with doing quite well in a race. Well, I can't because my tactics aren't there, but in terms of base fitness, I've got that. Looking at the bigger picture, looking at my key races, and want to be in best form for those, so not getting carried away too early. Got three hours today. Got 8 max seated sprints I've just cracked on with. They were really good. Then I've got 1 minute test effort that I wasn't sure about, but I'm going to give a crack at it now. 16 seated 5-second sprints, and then my torque work. The seated sprints were really good to start off with. I'd noticed my max power had been trending down during the 16-week block, and I haven't seen above 1300 since like first week of November or something. But yeah, cracked 1300 for 4 of those 8 sprints. That's a really good sign for getting the fatigue out of the legs. Feeling a lot more fresh, which makes sense, but still. Now I do think I've got an injury that's come back. It's funny, I'm worried about how my sprints would be on the bike today, because I've got an old injury that's come back. But it seems to be holding up all right. Booked in for physio on Thursday. I had a pinched common peroneal nerve in October 2022, and I think that's been like dormant in the background for the past 2 and a bit years, and it's finally come back. There's been signs of it coming back for the past few weeks, but I finally put 2 and 2 together to work out what I think it is. Did like half an hour of rehab exercises this morning, just my standard rehab exercise I've been doing, plus nerve glides. So nerve glides or nerve flossing. So you don't want to stretch a pinched nerve. You want to like move it back and forth. So rather than stretching it, you want to like move it back and forth. So I've been doing a lot of that. I think that's going to help, but I also think I need to just go to the physio to have them do some work on my lower back, and hopefully fast track the progress of that. Or has noticed that I think my left side is weaker than my right, and maybe that's just been this injury in the background, like slight pinched nerve, but not enough to have symptoms, but it's resulting in less power coming from the left leg. If I can get that sorted, it could be 3 gains, but we'll see. Main thing is just getting it sorted, but feel absolutely fine on the bike today. When I think it first started onsetting a few months ago was when I crashed my bike and my lower back was hurting a lot, and I wasn't able to sprint after that, but had to miss a session. But today it's absolutely fine. A little bit of numbness in the left leg, but really not too bad after doing the rehab this morning. So yeah, I'll crack on with the session, ease off if it's starting to hurt. But I mean, when I developed the injury 2 years ago, I just had to stop running. I was riding the bike instead, so I was able to ride the bike, and so I'm confident I'll be able to keep training. Like, I might have to ease off the gas a little bit, but I'll be able to get some of the work done, and then hopefully physio will sort me out on Thursday. Got to challenge it, so I've got a session today, zone 2 tomorrow, and then TT tempo session on Wednesday. Then rest day Thursday. See what the physio can do. Work their magic. Right, little spin now, and then have a crack at that 1 minute effort. Lush. That's really good. Not quite perfectly paced, but pretty damn good if I do say so. Legs fell off the last 5-10 seconds, but yeah. bigger gear, so like 105 RPM, because I meant to do that 4 weeks ago. My effort, it was good, but I felt like the cadence was too high and I couldn't push more. I could have pushed more power at a low cadence. So yeah, was doing like 105 RPM and like 750 watts. So like conservative to start off with, because the other times I'd be like, right, well, we're getting 800 boys, and I go off a bit too hard and I really fade that last 20 seconds. But today was the opposite, and got 35 seconds in and I'm like, okay, can ramp it up a little bit. Probably got to 800 for another 10 seconds, and then I started suffering a lot more and the legs started falling off, and like I say, probably fell off just before my minute was up. Really good, and it's like that proper max effort. The same with my 20 or 30 second efforts where my legs just feel like they stop contracting. That's when the effort ends. Yeah, my glutes, quads and hammies just go, no more. The power drops and I'm like, I'm done. But yeah, solid effort that, and yeah, crazy that. Rest does you good. Rest actually lets you go from feeling shit to feeling good again. Haven't got an injury though, so swings and roundabouts. Yeah, I must sit down in a minute. Can't tell if I'm sick from the effort or sick from the windy descent of Mount Fuji. It's going so fast, my character's going so fast, he's bombing it through each corner. I'm like, fucking hell, slow down. He's a psycho. Good few minutes to spin out the legs before I crack on with the rest of my sprints. So, got 16 5-second seated sprints to do. See how those go. Whew. Better to keep moving though, can't sit down forever. Covered from my test effort and got on with my sprints. So I had 16 5-second seated sprints, and yeah, some of them were really good, I reckon. Just because, yeah, I feel like that punch is returning. Last 2 or 3, left leg starting to feel a bit dull, bit achy, but spin out the legs and have a crack at the torque work, see how that feels, and just play it by ear really. If it's too stressful, then stop, but if it's fine, then crack on. Try and do like 6 or 7 by 3 minutes at 95 Newton meters. That'll be good. Yeah. 5 by 3 minutes on the nose. That'll do me. Yeah. Cadence was a bit higher than I'd want it to, like 44, 45 RPM rather than 42, but you know, bigger proper session again, so can't complain too much. I was giving myself a bit of a shorter rest between efforts. Normally I'd do 6-7 minutes. I kept it to 5, which is still a long rest. But I did 5 by 3, but then I also had to do like 2 1-minute efforts as well, because what would happen is I'd started the effort and then a minute in I'd get a gear slip. It first happened in a hard gear, so I'm like, okay, I'll put it in an easier gear for road mode, and got the same happen. So 1 gear slip in a big gear, 1 gear slip in a small gear, and what happens is the erg mode just kicks in way too hard, and if you're going to save it, you're producing so much torque, like a sprint level torque just to save it. So you try, but then you fall into the spiral of doom, and it's like, fuck's sake. So I just have to I had like do like a minute effort with failed gear slip, then take a couple minutes rest, and then try again. And that happened twice. So the fact that I was able to get those 3-minute efforts done after that was pretty good. I think the best session I did a couple of weeks back, last proper session, was 5 by 3, 1 by 2. So me doing the 5 by 3 is essentially almost the same as that session, and I'll just leave it there because I had to really dig for that final effort, up to 180 BPM. I thought I'm done at 2 minutes and then push on for another whole minute. So yeah, really happy with that. Great session, good to be back, good to be feeling nice and chirpy again. And yeah, but just because I'm feeling good now make sure I don't overdo it. Like, don't be like, oh, I'm feeling great, back into 24-hour weeks. No, 23-hour weeks is what got me a bit fatigued, got me feeling a bit stale. So yeah, keep it sub 20, and then maybe 20-hour weeks leading up to the national champs in June. But that's doing 20-hour hard weeks, knowing that I've got a mid-season break after that. So yeah, play it by ear, but I know a good range to be in is that. Safe range to be in is 15 to 18. 18 to 20 is probably absolutely fine, but if I stray above 20 hours like and stitch too many of those together, I'm likely to get probably not overtrained anymore, but just the starting signs of overtraining, just starting to feel a bit stale. So it's not worth it, because I won't be like, what's the point in smashing the hours if it's not going to make you go any better? I'm not Norwegian. I can't smash 40 hour, or James McKay, can't smash 40-hour weeks. That's just not me. If I was just riding zone 2, I could probably handle like that 20 to 25-hour, like during the winter I could probably handle a couple of 25-hour weeks. But that's the thing, I don't just ride zone 2, I'm doing some extra stimulus, and it's not crazy stimulus, it's not like bashing out loads of threshold and VO2 max, but it does take a toll, plus the gym work. But understand your body. A good chat with a guy called Julian Ransbottom, who's a really good time trialist, and we were talking about that after I was feeling a bit fatigued last week. So yeah, that's some good pointers, and just like remind yourself to listen to what your body's saying, rather than, it's good to have a plan and it's good to try and execute it as diligently as possible, but you got to sanity check yourself. If things aren't going amazing, you need to probably ease off the gas a little bit, and you've overestimated the sort of training you can accumulate. Right, I'm over 3 hours now, but I need to spin out the legs after that last effort, so it'll be about 3 hours 10. It's warm in here. Well, no shit, I've just done my efforts. A bit of dullness in my left leg for, like I said, at the end of those 5-second sprints, and then going into my I-talk work, but really not too noticeable, to be honest. So yeah, it's not a debilitating injury, but it's definitely something that's there, and if I can get it sorted, that's just brilliant. But yeah, I can definitely still ride, that's what I'm saying. So for these nerve glide exercise I'm doing for my common peroneal nerve, it's like you have the foot rotated inwards or the foot rotated outwards, and you do that with leaning back and then rolling, like bending the lower back, so you're going back and forth, back and forth, and that's in time with, as your back rotated the foot inwards and forwards rotating outwards, the nerves meant to go back and forth, so you're not trying not to stretch it, you're meant to just just getting out for a nice and basic 2 hour zone 2, try and beat the rain. Yeah, just get out there, see how it is, and yeah, have a nice ride. Nice little 2 hour ride, that mega windy, but yeah, I think that's because the storm's coming. Nice day to get out. I mean, I got caught in the rain for a little section, and the roads I was on were like really gritty and wet, but just like random loose grit, like loose gravel. What is this? Nice to get out, good ride. I was like just under 2 hours for my ride, so I went off to like a quiet dead end road and did some like skills practice, just like nothing structured, quite loose. I did this quite a bit last year, where just spent 10 or so minutes just doing just like tight low speed turns sort of thing, like just snaking around, figure of eights, S's sort of thing, and yeah, just trying to get a bit more fluid on the bike. Obviously I'm not, because I haven't been doing it so long, I'm not the best bike handler, and I don't think I ever will be, but it's going to help to, even if it's just something so basic like that, it's going to help just feel a bit more fluid on the bike. And yeah, nice way to end the ride, and yeah, it was a good one. Bush. Hey guys, it's Wednesday on the TT bike for a TT session today. So I got 4 by 25 minutes TT tempo. So like 320 to 330 watts probably. Keeping it nice and consistent. Probably do 10-minute rest in between. First session on the new saddle. So that arrived last week, but I've only done a couple of like recovery and zone 2 rides on it, so feels good so far. But this will be the real litmus test to see how the saddle performs during multiple long efforts on it. I'm optimistic. It's felt really good so far, so I think it's the way to go with the wide saddle that enables me to sit further forward while being planted on the seat bones. Just finished my warm-up, spinning out for another 5 minutes now, and then crack on with the first effort, eh? It'll also be interesting to see how my leg holds up. Like I said, I've been able to ride. I booked in for the physio tomorrow, but I've been able to ride absolutely fine this week. Session on Monday was good. Feeling a bit dull this morning, like more dull than it has been, especially the past 2 days. So yeah, see how it copes with these long efforts, but just adjust it to feel a bit struggling, just let the power ease off a little bit, and yeah, just get it done. Like, this training isn't going to be detrimental to it. Like, I can still ride the bike. I just need to be sensible and ease off the gas if I need to. Keep doing my nerve glide exercises, and then see if the physio can do some more major work tomorrow. 2 reps down, trying to eat my computer. Just after 2 25-minute efforts, I've shuffled all the way from, I'm basically touching that fan, rotated all the way forward. So yeah, gonna hop off, scoot the bike back, and go put some weights on my trainer, try and weigh it down so I don't move us forward as much, but see if that works. Yeah, saddle feels good. It's not like whoa, no pain at all. But I still have to be conscious about sitting in the saddle and like there's slight skin overlap, but does feel good. Legs are extremely achy, but yeah, just getting used to these long efforts, you know. It's going to take time. Nice and under control, so that's a plus. But yeah, have my second 10-minute rest now, and then get this trainer sorted. Yeah, let's move from there to there in 50 minutes of tempo. Right, holding my distance, see if this works any better. There we go, that's 4 by 25 minutes with roughly 10-minute rest in between reps. Yeah, can't complain with that. Felt like I got better over the course of the session, like each rep was better than the last. Like really achy legs on the first one, like not as used to the position, felt like I was getting a bit of rubbing, but then the next one was better, and the last one was the best by far. Yeah, and the leg was feeling, to be honest, I wasn't thinking much about my leg during the session, but it's a little bit dull, but not too bad. Coped fine with the session. Yeah, good amount of time in TT position that. Wasn't just like a pure 25 minutes, I'd have to like get out of the saddle in the TT bar, something you can't do outside obviously. Just giving my ass a little bit of a rest, like 1 or 2 times during the 25-minute effort, but getting more used to being in position. Like over time you'll just be able to bash out those 25-30-minute efforts and not even move around at all, because that's what you're going to have to do out on a big time trial. Really can't complain with that. Also, weighting down the trainer worked perfectly. That's after the next 50 minutes that was at a higher power, and I'm miles away from the desk. Shifted forward maybe a tiny bit, slightly to the right, but weighing it down with, what's that, 2 7.5s on the back, and then that's 10 kg, that's 2 5s. Yeah, not moving around too much. Maybe if I start doing more power at threshold, I'll have to use the big boys, but still space on this little platform I've got, so yeah. Just like another 10-minute spin to cool down now, then hop off, do a bit of a gym session this evening as well. Probably do the same as what I did on Monday, just doing half my normal volume on squats, 1 fewer set for snatch, deadlifts and hip thrusts, and then I've got a physio tomorrow, so hopefully that goes well. I'll just ask the trainer to stay where it is. Got to weigh him down. It's a strange one. I've noticed this a couple of times after a session, at least I reckon twice before this. So the lateral movement of the cleat, you shift it back and forth on these like rails here. I put it in the middle as far as possible, basically reducing the Q factor as far as possible. That's what I've been experimenting with. And I put it all the way to the side. But then after being on the TT bike for however many 3 hours or whatever, even though they're tightened up properly, they shift a little bit. So I don't know if like my natural inclination is to have that slightly, and it's only been happening on the right side. The left side stayed slammed as far in the middle of the shoe as the foot as possible. But this one always moves slightly outwards. Maybe something to do with how my right foot wants to be on the bike. So I've been to physio this morning and they suspect that it's a similar issue to what I had last time. Issue in my lower back, like the L3 region, and that's causing the nerve pain, nerve issues down my leg. So yeah, and I've been seeing good progress since it got bad about a week ago. I've been seeing good progress after doing these nerve glide exercises, so I'm going to continue doing that. But then also there's a stretch I should do to mobilize the lower back, which is something I like when I do these knee rehab exercises. You mobilize, for me that's in the hip, so I mobilize the hip and then do the knee rehab exercises. So it's the same sort of thing, doing a mobilizing the joint and then doing the exercises. So I reckon like 5 more weeks of doing that, I hopefully should continue to see good progress, then go back and hopefully I've got it to a stage where I'm not getting this dull ache in my leg anymore, and then we can try and work out what's causing my lower back to get tight. Did have some ideas like tightness in the hip flexors, shortened hip flexors, which makes sense riding the time trial bike, tightness in the psoas, and that could be to kind of have tightness in the hip flexors, and that's causing my lower back to get overworked, and that's what's causing that tightness in the L3. So yeah, hopefully just focus on getting my nerve glide exercises done. I'll do a bunch of that now, especially that he's probably loosened up the L3. Keep going with that for another 5 weeks, I reckon, because the thing is, it's not a debilitating injury like it was last time. When I had this injury 2 years ago, it was pretty debilitating for my running, but I can keep riding, and I reckon I can see good progress just working on it myself, and then go back for some more specialist treatment once it's better. He was saying also it's like if you're a GB athlete, you got like physio like every day sort of thing, and that's just the nature of being a domestic rider, an amateur. You don't have access to that sort of care. So maybe it's just the case that like at a high level, you're going to always be experiencing these issues, just because you're pushing your body to its limit. But the guys at the top have access to the physios all the time, so that's how they deal with it. So I think it's ideal to get your body to a state where you're dealing with it the best as possible, so you're not developing these little issues. But it's understandable that these issues are going to crop up, and then it's just being sensible about how you address them and trying to do that at the best of your ability. It's a chilly one. Getting out for 3 hours zone 2 now. Really windy as well, but yeah, grey skies, so hopefully no rain. Yeah, it's cold, man. Need to get going to start warming up. Hopefully the leg holds up as well. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of the nerve glide exercises, but I feel like just a steady zone 2 ride is where my leg kind of more numbness starts developing, compared to like an indoor ride where I'm doing like sprints and such. I feel like sprints is kind of good for my leg, to be honest. We'll get out there and see how it is. Tappa tappa. Cold and windy one that, but yeah, not too bad. Yeah, mega cold to start off with. Got caught in a little bit of a hailstorm, but Thankfully it was absolutely fine. Like the roads were wet a little bit. Oh, I did have a sketchy part where I think just a bit of greasy road coming down the descent. I was forced to take a bit of a weird line because of like a car just coming the other way being taking up too much of the road. And then I think I must have just hit a weird lumpy bit of road. I just like felt the bike jolt, but through a corner, but managed to keep it upright. But yeah, decent ride that. I got out today because the weather's decent. It's looking horrible tomorrow, so I'll do my session tomorrow instead, because I was able to get out in this weather. It was alright, slow in the wind. I was also out in some roads by Chesterfield where there's some like sporting time trial courses that I'm going to do in the summer, just as like just a different TT threshold session. Just do a Wednesday night sporting time trial. But yeah, leg held up much better compared to the last two rides. My leg would go like the dull ache would develop quite quickly, and then I was just like putting up with it for the whole ride. For the first half of the ride at least I was alright. I did feel my calf twinge a little bit, and then the last 30 minutes or so, like I've got a bit of pain in like the outside of my knee, which is kind of where I used to have symptoms when this injury developed last year, 2 and a bit years ago. But yeah, better, and I think it's just being on the bike for a decently long period. My lower back gets a bit fatigued, and then I'm gonna start having nerve issues down the leg. But yeah, continue doing my rehab exercises and get on top of it a bit more, and yeah, we'll get better with time. Hey guys, Saturday on the turbo for a session today. Got sprints and high torque work, so starting out with 8 seated max sprints, then 16 seated 5-second sprints, and then move on to my high torque work. Aim for, last session I did, so Monday I did 5 by 3 minutes, aim for 6 by 3 or even 7 by 3, that'd be fantastic. For the final 50 minutes of the session I'm going to do that as heat, reintroduce the heat again, just doing 1 session a week for February, and then just so getting used to that stimulus so that I can gradually start building it up again, so I don't get to summer and be like, whoa, it's actually hot outside. Introduce the heat little and often earlier on in the season, and then I can actually ramp it up in June. Just finish my warm up now, spin out for a little bit, and then crack on with these sprints. I think to dial it back a bit, did 10 seated 5-second sprints there rather than 16. Yeah, some pain was starting to develop in my psoas, upper thigh, like deep hip flexor muscle, and yeah, I mean, now that I've spinned out for another 5 minutes, that pain subsided, but obviously the sprints are aggravating it. Spin out for a minute now, and then have a go at my first torque effort, but could be the case that that's too much stress as well, in which case I'll not bother with the torque today. No reason I can't do the heat work though, that shouldn't stress me out any more than zone 2. So in terms of the leg, spin out for a minute and then have a crack at 95 Newton meters. Was alright for the high torque work. Yeah, bit of a dull ache developing, like the strain in my psoas went away during that spin, and then a bit of a dull ache developing during the effort, but not too bad really, and yeah, got them done. Just matched what I did on Monday, 5 by 3 minutes at 95 Newton meters, well, around about 95, 93 or so. Happy with that, because didn't even know I was going to be able to get any done. Spinning out for a minute now, then I'll get on some layers and do the last 50 minutes as heat. Whew. Good stuff. Time to get sweaty. That's 50 minutes of heat there. Steaming up. Yeah, core sensors are a bit slow to react, but yeah, it's getting up to a reasonably high level. So yeah, hop off now, good work, feeling good, leg feels absolutely fine. So yeah, hop off, get in the shower, drink a lot of water, steamy. Just ending the week with 2 hours zone 2 on the turbo. Still a nice easy week, like 16 hours or so, but got some good sessions done. 2 quality talk sessions and sprint sessions, GT tempo work and heat work as well. So yeah, easing back into things after calming it down after feeling a bit stale, but yeah, feeling back to myself now, feeling good. Lower volume weeks, but I'm gonna keep the intensity sessions in there. Happy with how things are going and continue to progress from here.